Okay, good evening, everybody. Good evening, and welcome to our Q&A for tonight. Let me see. I'm going to share my screen for a little bit, and of course, as always, this is really designed for you to right. Excuse me. Um, Put your questions in there, and I will take my best shot at them. And so, good to see you all here. Thank you, Gail. Good to see you. And yeah, so I do want to talk a little bit about, if there are no questions, we're going to talk about something that I'm going to be doing kind of a little more formal of a presentation about. And I'm either going to do that tomorrow or I'm going to do it Monday in my local area. And it's really going to be a bonus, even though I probably should just turn this into its own product. And I guess if you use this as a bonus and you teach your customers this, they probably won't have heard the spin on it, even though you probably understand it. You probably have thought these very same things. I'm going to talk through them briefly, but I'm going to do it formally when I get ready. But first, if you have any questions that you want to see me cover, please write them in the box. And as I said, I'm kind of happy to try to answer any questions that you might have about that. So I've got your questions in front of me, and I can see them if you ask them. And other than that, I'm going to fly through some of these things here, and we'll just kind of talk about them. And I know I'm looking off to the side. I'm pulling all my windows in front of me so I can kind of focus here. Um, any questions? Any questions? I really don't want to. I don't want to talk. Tonight, I will be doing the DFY Live Masterclass, just so that you'll know. And right after I get off this call, I'm going to add this course to all of our Ultimate Insiders, the new course, which is AI Website Playbook. I'm going to pull up that slide here. And so if you have not picked up that course, you can still pick that up at the plrshow.com/MYOR. If you are an Ultimate Insider, you do not have to do anything to get the course. I will be adding it to your account this evening. And I was going to wait till tomorrow, but then I thought about the fact that the DFY is tonight, and somebody might want to attend that live. So if you do, I'm going to add that to your account right after this session, which I suspect won't go any longer than 30 minutes if it goes that long. So once again, so any questions that you have, any questions? What I'm going to talk about, I'm going to pull up the slide here, is basically understanding how you maintain sustainability when you're going to be doing internet marketing. And there's some really key points to the way I'm going to present this. And one of the things I'm going to be doing is kind of talking to the people that you serve, not necessarily to you directly, but the same things are going to apply to you and I. These are things that are not going to be untrue. It's just that my perspective is going to be to your customers when I teach this. And so in order to sustain an information marketing business, and even if you don't have one yet, let's say you're doing just affiliate marketing, everybody's really got to, at some point, you got to find areas where you create value and leverage, and you got to teach people what you do and not just what you know. And so people really will value more what you do because they want to know how you do it. And they may sort of want, they would pay for what you know, but they'll really pay for what you do if you're willing to teach people. And sometimes you're going to be at different stages in your business, especially as an information marketer, where the value of what you do is going to be great to people. And they want to know. They want to know the behind the scenes. They want to know how you're doing it. And I've always said that when you see people and they are actually selling the business model that they do, they're typically on their way out, right? And so you typically would not sell the business model of what you do. So in other words, let's say that you're a freelancer and you're getting clients. You're not going to necessarily teach people how to get clients while you're in it, right? But there is a point at which you do need to teach that, because that's your value to the marketplace. Because if you if you've been working online, and let's say you've been getting clients and they're a certain kind of client, there are people who want to know how to do that, and you can teach them that. But but that's going to happen in a stage. Every stage is going to have a different point at which you're going to have this value to the marketplace, and you want to bring that value. And the tendency is going to be, well, nobody wants to know that. Nobody wants to know what I do. Nobody wants to know what I know. But really, people really do want to know that. It's just that different stages at different points, you're going to actually offer that value to the marketplace. And I'm going to tell you why that's going to help you in terms of burnout here in a minute. The second point that I'm going to talk about again at length is what you're trying to do in information marketing is you're trying to buy back your time. And so basically when you pay an affiliate, what you're basically saying is you bring me traffic, I'll give you a big cut, I'll give you a big share of bringing me that customer because it's work to bring a customer. Well, that's the most stressful part of any online business. That's the most stressful part of any business is to acquire a customer. And basically that's why you pay your affiliate so much. And so when you pay an affiliate on the front end, you say whatever it is, doesn't matter what you're paying. If your product is going to be, $37, and you say to the affiliate, I'm going to give you, 50, 75, 85% of that, what you're basically acknowledging is, hey, it's work to bring a customer, and I appreciate that. And I want to incentivize you to bring more. And so you want to continue to incentivize people to bring you customers. And that really is the most stressful part of any business, any online business. The third point I'm going to make, you see that you want to automate as much as you can afford to automate. And so you want to spend and reserve your dollars for automation, and you want to buy tools that automate what you do. So don't buy tools that will automate things that you might do. And that's what most of us do in internet marketing. We buy tools that automate what we might do. And that's what that does, is that takes away some of the funds that you have to buy the tools that would automate what you do. It is expensive to automate what you're doing. Trust me on that. So when you really analyze your processes, you're not going to be able to go and get something that somebody launched to you. You're going to have to probably pay full price. You're going to have to get it customized, and you're going to have to make sure it works. You're going to have professional to make sure you're doing it. You can get lucky every so often and buy something off the shelf, but typically, if you really focus on what will automate what I'm doing, that's going to cost you to get the right people. It's going to cost you to get the right tools, and it's going to cost you to understand how to do it. But that's the most, but that's going to be the most valuable thing. That's going to be the most valuable thing for you to actually purchase. And again, I'm going to get into this when I get into the session. Gail's question is, I noticed that you said affiliates and pay partners. Is that the same thing? So let's say that, Gail, you and I launch something together, and then we also go and recruit affiliates. So so let's say that, so that's what I mean. So we work together on a project, and we split it, right? So I get 40%, you get 40%, and then 20% goes to pay the expenses. But then we take that project together and we recruit affiliates. So basically, we're getting 40% of what comes after the affiliates. And so partnering and affiliates are different things. And so a partnership reduces the amount of stress you have, because theoretically reduces the amount of stress you have because that person does some things that you don't want to do. And so it's a way of sustaining your business if you can find a partner that you're willing to share the revenue with. My friend Dwayne Golden, and I quote him often, says that, sometimes it's better to get a little bit of a lot than a lot of a little bit, right? And so you want to have certain elements where you have partners. Now, if you want it to be sustainable, you have to find the right partners, and that's not always easy to do. And sometimes you want to partner with people for a project, and then you want to back off that project. So when you start talking about long-term arrangements, that can be a little difficult. But if you start talking about let's do a project together, and if it works, let's do another project together. So if it doesn't, right, then there's no emotional investment. right? So in other words, you're not hurt, they're not hurt. It's just like, okay, well, we did a project together in June, but I don't really want to do a project together in July. I want to launch my own thing in July. And so I think that if you have partners and you have affiliates, those are two different things, right? Does that make sense, Gail? Okay, so Santu says you explained JV and affiliates, right? Yeah, it took me a long time to understand that, um, Santu, because I was really reluctant to partner, and I'll tell you my first real partnership project experience, I did software, which I don't do, and I work with a big group, and we did a huge software launch way back when, and the good thing about that is that on a revenue side it was good. The thing that was difficult is that the partnership, I didn't really have control over what the direction of the partnership went, and so that can be the difficult part is that you don't really control the direction of a partnership all the time, and it has your name on it, right? But it reduces stress if you can find that balance where, hey, we're going to work together on this, we're going to work together on this project, and then if it works, we'll come back and do another project, right? Okay, and then I'm going to talk about shifting time forward. I think you understand that as an internet marketer. So in other words, most people don't understand this about our business, is that, and when you teach your customer this, it's going to be a revelation to them. So in other words, a lot of what people are going to be doing when you manage an email marketing list, sometimes, you know, even if you I put a lot of thought into what I write, right? I put a lot of thought into, a newsletter that goes out, but sometimes it makes sense for me to write those on Friday so that on Sunday I don't have to sit down and think about it. So even though it's going to take me the same amount of time, I will shift that time. So in other words, I shift that time forward by writing it beforehand. So I can write that email when it's best for me, when my brain is clear, when maybe I don't have a lot to do, and then set it, and then let's say when it comes, I have class, right? I have a lot of classwork to do, and sometimes we have, like Friday at noon, we had this meeting, and my classmates and I, and um, it would have helped if I could have done some things ahead of time. But that's what our business allows us to do. Let's say that you're going to do a launch, right? I've seen a couple of people who have done a launch. Technically, you could do all the work 3 weeks ahead, right? You could, right? And then while that launch is happening, really, you could be taking care of mom and dad, right? If you're got aging parents, you could be, if you're in the sandwich generation, you could be shuffling off to help your adult kids, right? So you could be doing any of those things, and you do that by shifting time forward. I'm going to explain that to in the burnout, because one of the things that burns people out is that they do it, and I know this because I did it. If you do everything on the day that it's got to happen, right? Um, if you do everything on the day it's got to happen, then it is an add a bit of stress, right? But if you learn to do it on a Friday for the work you got to do on Tuesday, and then the launch happens on Tuesday, and the promotions happen on Tuesday, and all the other things happen on Tuesday, even though you did it whenever, way back when, then you just kind of get to watch, you get to kind of live your life. And so you use your business, right? You use your business, you don't burn out from your business. You just have to learn how to do it. And I'm going to explain that, when I do the bonus. Yeah, so Santu, I'm going to have the replay on YouTube. So all the weekend Q&A, I put it on YouTube and make it available, and then I send out an email. So and so now, what I will say also is that all of the previous Q&As, and I'm beta testing this, and if you want, I'll give you access to it. Um, I have all my Q&As in a database along with my previous training, and I'm adding my previous uh, uh, PLR training to a database that's searchable, right? It's in Searchy. So again, if you want that, I think I'll write in the URL. I'll put the YouTube link is here's the YouTube link, youtube.com. And I think it still works with Gain Mindshare / Gain Mindshare. And then there's also the PLR show.com / searchable. And that's a beta, right? And it's in beta right now. Just so if you're watching this, let's say you're watching this, you say I couldn't find anything. Well, it's still in beta, but it's all my trainings in Searchy. So you can go to that database. You can search for a phrase that maybe you might remember something I said. You think, I don't remember what he said. And then you can go back, you can go in there and find it, right? You can find the training, you find the point in the training where I said something, right? So there's that. Okay, so you should be able to see them. I think they should be in the, okay, you got it. Okay, great. And then I'm going to talk about, and I've talked about this before. If you've been on any of my training, I've talked to Ultimate Insiders about this specifically, and it's called and the term LLM is kind of like a play on words. Yeah, I don't know if they're going to be clickable in there. You might have to put the URL in your browser, right? YouTube.com / Gain Mindshare, and then the PLRshow.com / searchable. But yeah, so one thing I would really encourage you to do is that you have something that you're working on that's going to be a big launch, right? And you might say, well, I don't really have anything to do a big launch. You can't. Everybody's got something that's going to be that they can look forward to, and so the large launch model. And I have not done a lot of this myself, mind you. I will be doing more of this, but you need to have something like how many of you all have seen, I might be dating myself when I say this. If you're watching this, or you're watching this by replay, how many of you all here have seen the movie Ocean's 11? I know I've used that reference before. So if you've seen Ocean's 11, put the number 1 in the question box, right? So you've seen Ocean's 11. So just kind of understanding the reference is that you know how they work for months leading up to one night, right? So they work all these months, they're doing all of this planning and they're doing all of this big event, and then there's a big score, right? Well, that's the same concept. While you're doing your business, right? Now, so they don't have anything else to do, right? Because it's a movie, right? They don't have jobs. But theoretically, right, while you're working your business, you need to also have something that's going to be a big score. And it can be, it can be a big launch. It can be a big, summit, whatever it is. It needs to be a big deal. And it needs to be a big score and potentially a big revenue project. And you know what that does? Just by your looking forward to it, it gives you something out of the mundane, because basically this business can get tedious and it can get stressful. And sometimes, they're just people issues that you got to deal with, and they can be stressful. One thing that keeps you going is having an Ocean's 11, having a big score that you're looking forward to, that you're working on. You got a date planned. It's going to happen, and you're trying to see to it, and you're working behind the scenes. And now it does take some work to do, but everybody needs to have an Ocean's 11, right? That they're working on, a big deal. And then I said, be intentional about your time on social media. I talk about that. than have a big project outside of your regular business. So that's really what the burnout thing is going to be about. I'm gonna do that, and that's going to be a bonus that comes with. I'm going to give that to people that get Sajan's thing. So that's really what that's going to be about. And I think I didn't give the whole thing away. I'm gonna kind of talk through the points a little bit more, but that's basically what you can do with your business to avoid burnout, right? And that's what you want to do. You want to use your business. You don't want to you don't want to have you don't want to be to feel like the business is burning you out. You got to use your business to avoid burnout. And here's the key understanding. The reason people burn out typically in our business, or even if they're employed full time and they're working our business, is because they don't really the money isn't what they want, right? The money hasn't come yet, and so there's only one remedy for that, and it's continuity, right? It's continuity. And so I don't have that in my presentation because I haven't really written that slide yet, because that's going to be the conclusion, but that's the remedy. And so you have to work toward continuity if you don't want to burn out. There is no other way, right? I mean, the only other way is Ocean's 11. So in other words, you have a big score, you have a big chunk of income that comes in, and then you can kind of relax. So in other words, if you did an Ocean's 11 and you made $100,000, right, in a weekend, then all the months that leading up to that, all the work you put in, let's say you put in 3 months of solid work, day in, day and night, you worked all night, then you had a big score. Well, then that could carry you, right? You could go to the beach for a little bit, you could chill for a little bit, and what you've done is you bought some time. That's one way to manage burnout, right? You have a big score, you have an Ocean's 11. The other way is you got a lunchbox. In other words, you got something that's kind of repeating it over and over again. It's paying you on a regular basis. Those are the only two ways, right? So if you do them in between and you just kind of work it like a job, it'll pay you. You can figure out how to do affiliate marketing. You can figure out how to sell products, but it will burn you to a frazzle. And so everybody's got to kind of figure out how to get one of those two things into their business, and by any means necessary. So I talk a lot in these calls, and I tell you that if you can buy your way into a case where somebody will promote your product and they've got a big list, you got to bite your pride, you got to swallow your pride and go ahead and pay that person, right? Pay that person what they're asking and just let them mail for you. Why stress yourself? Well, I got to do it myself, and I got to have it. Maybe, right? Maybe you don't. So anyway, that's sort of where I'm going to be going with this. And let's see, what time is it? It's 7:26. So we're still good on time. We got about 4 minutes. Any questions? Any questions? Oh yeah, Santu, I'm gonna put the link to the I'm gonna put the link to the edit in the checkout area. Right? Oh, well, you got it before we promote it. Well, why did you do that? Why did you do that? Okay. All right. Any other questions? Yeah, no, I'm kidding, Santu. I'm just kidding. Hey, Jim, good to see you. And now, if you're listening to this, just so you'll know, I think Jim's launching on the 19th of July. Even if I'm late, right? Even if I'm late getting the link out, you're going to want to get my bonus for it. So I don't care where you're watching this from. If you're watching this in the replay on YouTube, if you're watching this live, I'm just telling you, just wait, right? So I don't know if he's going to do a dime sale or not, anything like that. But even so, the pennies that you save, right? Just wait. I will be promoting it. So I may be running late. And one of the reasons why I run late is because, I mean, I'm launching also, right? I launch at the same time, right? Um, so yes. So you might start getting emails from everybody and ignore them. No, no, please don't ignore them. I shouldn't say that. Because my colleagues, we work together, and we are, I wouldn't even call us competitors, right? We just kind of, we're kind of friendly, sort of. It's not even competition, right? They've got great stuff, right? I think about my buddy Daniel, right? I've known Daniel for a long time. Those Sajan, I've known Tiffany. I mean, the people I promote that promote me, I've known these guys for a long time. Daniel, Daniel Taylor from Australia, right? All these, they're good, you know, these are good people, right? So when I say, I'm really saying that all tongue in cheek. Like, I'm not saying don't buy from them, but I'm saying I'm gonna have a good bonus for Jim's thing. Is what I'm saying. All right. Okay. Any other questions? Jim Landers. I think it calls him himself. I think his brand name is Jupiter Jim. Right. So Jim's brand name, Jim Landers. I call him Jim. Um, you know, but his brand name is Jupiter Jim, and he's going to be doing AWeber, and I think he's doing it on the 19th. And like I said, I'm not gonna be there at like 9 in the morning. I am not gonna have an email going out 9 in the morning, just so you'll know. I will have an email going out, but and it's gonna have a great bonus to it, so you'll know. Um, yeah, it's called AWeber Crash Course 4.0. And I think he's done 3.0, 2.0. Um, So Santu's asking me what your bonus is going to be. It's a secret, Santu. I'm not going to tell you now. I'm not going to tell you. Uh, uh. All right. Any other question? Well, everybody, I appreciate y'all hanging out with me. It's now 7:31. And oh, what do I think of PayHip? Yeah, I saw somebody teaching on that, and I've not really looked at it, but I am going to check it out. I think it's comparable to Gumroad, and from what I see, people are selling their products, their digital products on there, right? So yes, I've PayHip is like it's like payment processing, I think, right? An affiliate platform. So yeah, I just heard about it. I saw it in a Facebook group, and yeah, I think it does membership site stuff also. Yeah. Yeah, I've not really looked at it closely, but I might look at it, right? I don't know if it's going to rise to the level of doing a course. Um, so Jim's asking, how does it compare to JV Zoom Warrior Plus? I'm not sure yet, Jim. I know a lot of people are using it, so it is very popular. So yeah, um, yeah. So yeah, no, I will take a look at it. I will be taking a look at it, Santu, for sure. Yeah, I think it is payhip.com, Jim. I think it's payhip.com. Right? And I think it's free to list. Probably you pay on the back end like you do on Warrior Plus when you make sales. Probably like Gumroad, you pay on the back end. So in other words, you pay them a fee and so on and so forth. Yeah. All right. Well, okay, everybody. Well, it's been good hanging out with you. I appreciate you all being here. I mean, you could have done anything on Saturday night, but you chose to spend it with me. Talking about burnout and talking about internet marketing, and I really appreciate you. Okay, Santu, you're asking my bonus. It's really going to be this presentation that I kind of skimmed tonight. So I just kind of scratched the surface of what I'm actually going to talk about, and the point of it, right? The point of the presentation is that continuity or the big score. right? So that's what it's leading to. So I kind of gave you the answer to the test, but it's really going to be designed for you to teach your customers, because I don't care what the business is. Let's say that you're talking to a brick and mortar business owner, and they, first of all, brick and mortar business owner may not know this, but here's what you should be teaching them, right? If you're working with business, brick and mortar business owner, they need a digital product. They need a digital side of their business. They need to learn the little things of managing that digital products business, because if they learn that, then they're going to get customers into their physical products business or their service. And then when they do that physical products business, they need to do these things. They either need continuity, or they need a big score, right? Those are the two ways you avoid burnout. And if you can put one of those things on your map, right? You put a big score. So in other words, you got this big thing going to happen. You got all these affiliates lined up, and so yeah, so you're not working every day, because you're working. It's like Ocean's 11. Like you're doing all the stuff to arrange the things and put them in order. Then on the day the launch happens is a big score, right? So when you watch Ocean's 11 next time, don't focus so much on the fact that these are thieves, right? Maybe that's not a good example, but I think you get the point, right? Yeah. So Santu says brick and mortar companies have it easy not to do online marketing. Um, yeah. But in terms of continuity, there's nothing like an online business if you can get it right. I mean, you gotta kind of understand the customer. You gotta understand. It takes a long time to understand what your customer needs and how you can fulfill it. And my honest feeling is most of us come into online marketing, and we and I really do have to go. I really have to go, right? Most of us come in and we work up to the point where we learn how to generate sales. And so we get good at generating sales, but that's not the point of the business. The point of the business is sustainability. The point of the business is a sustainable, a competitive, sustainable competitive advantage and continuity. Because once you have an advantage in the marketplace, a USP, and um, you have a continuity payment, then you have some breathing room that you can start making some decisions. Because otherwise, the business is running you, and until it's sustainable, until you have those things, it's going to run you. And so that's why I'm saying, if you start out trying to get there, you'll get there. I didn't start out trying to get there, right? And I wish I kind of knew that. I'm not saying somebody shouldn't have told me that. It was nobody's responsibility to tell me that. I'm not saying that. What I am saying though is it's an important thing that if you focus on when you first get started, I'm going to be working toward you work past getting sales. Getting sales is the first thing, right? You learn how to get sales so that you can get a continuity offer. So it's not just I'm going to do a launch and make sales. It's so that I can sustain it, right? So if you can see, if you so you think so don't spend all your energy trying to just make sales, right? That's the first step on the continuum. The last point on the continuum is sustainability. And as I said, there are two ways to sustain yourself. One is to do a big score, right? You get a big chunk and you live on that chunk, right? You party on that chunk. You vacation on that chunk. You take care of mom and dad on that chunk. You take care of kids on that chunk. And then you just live between big chunks. Or you get continuity. Now, the best of all worlds is doing both, right? It'd be hard to do them both, just so you'll know, because it takes a different kind of energy to do a big launch and work behind the scenes and be doing continuity and serving people in that way, because continuity is about service, right? So when you have a continuity program, when you wake up in the morning, you're thinking, how can I serve these people, right? And you got to, and that's a difficult thing, to do that, and then to also be working on the score. Some people can do both, right? I've seen people do both, right? But it's not easy. Okay, so Santu says big score and big chunks or continuity program. Well, the continuity is about selling products, but that's how you get people into the front end of your continuity. You sell products. So in other words, you get people into your front end. That's how you get them. That's how you make the offer. That's how they learn how to trust you. So you sell them the product, and then once they buy the product, you say to them, well, hey, I've got more of the same. I can give you more of this on a regular basis. You build trust with the product. So you've got to sell products. You've got to market the products. And then people come through your doors, right? Because you don't have a brick and mortar business. So your door to the brick and mortar, your brick and mortar business is the product sale. That's your door, right? Because you got a buyer. When that person walks in, they walk through your virtual doors when they make a purchase. And what I'm saying to you is that if you think of it that way, because sometimes you could think of it as, well, they've made the purchase, that's the end of it. That's not the end of it. The end of it is they buy from you continually, right? Right. Yeah. So Gail's saying it's a difficult it's you got to really you've got to be very, very good at project management. I mean, you've got not just good, you've got to be phenomenal because there are two different things happening. Number one, you're serving people on this side. On the other side, you're preparing for this big score. And both require a lot of thought and energy. And they're two different they're two different mojos. They're two different things happening. I'm not saying it's impossible, but you've got to be good. You got to be not just okay, you got to be phenomenal at managing projects to do that. That's my take. But that's, but that's my take. Uh, okay, everybody. Well, I have shot the breeze with you long enough. And so I appreciate y'all hanging out with me here. And I will see you next Saturday. Have a great night and a pleasant tomorrow. Take care.